T-L.
Capitalism is the only way, Leslie. It moves our country forward. It's what makes America great. And England okay and France terrible. W.
T-L.
And welcome back, everybody, to WTL. Where's the line? Nebraska's first and only sports betting show. I'm your host, Andy, class enjoyed by
Jabron.
Oh, the Parlay Pounder.
You got it. We're back.
Yes, we are. And we had a little fun last week going over a new sponsor of Herd at Sports.
Yeah.
And that is Underdog Fantasy.
Of course.
Underdog NFL. And we're just going to run it right back.
We have to.
Because we had a little bit of success there as well.
We did.
You smacked one of those 3-packs.
Loved it.
The old Parlay Pounder. Give us those Parlay plays.
Yeah.
So we're just going to focus on each and every one of the remaining NFL games.
Yeah.
Give each one a couple minutes here and get some of our favorite picks out of there. And right out of the gate, this is going to be a heavily bet game because you can't talk NFLs, you can't talk Chiefs without a lot of money being put on the line.
Yeah.
So many stars in this game. Looking at Patrick Mahomes' higher, lower number of 250 and a half yards.
Yeah, through the air. Yep.
I mean, I'm going higher.
Yeah, I think a lot of Patrick's are, achievable this go around. 250 and a half yards through the yards, 1.5 passing touchdowns. We did touch on it in the earlier segment. Will he throw an interception or not? I do not believe that he will. So I would go on the lower of half a interception.
Yep.
But my two best plays of this game, Andy, are, and we probably already touched on as well, but Isaiah Pacheco, I do believe the Chiefs get a little bit of a lead and pound the rock a little bit. His rushing yards are only at 40.5 right now. I'm going higher on Isaiah Pacheco.
I really like that too. And I know Kareem Hunt's our leading rusher, but that was out of necessity.
Yeah.
Pacheco is fully healthy now. And if they do get up on him, he's going to touch the rock quite a bit. I think the wild card here that's going to draw a lot of action that, kind of scares me, Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
53.5 yards is where they're putting their line on Underdog. You want to say higher, duh.
You do want to say higher,
but I don't know. He wasn't that player throughout the season,
right? You look at Kelce and you look at the numbers, and he's not having that great of a year and all that kind of stuff. But people have to remember, this is the playoffs.
It is the playoffs. Right?
Patrick Mahomes will revert to who he trusts the most, and who does he trust the most? Mr. Guy that's got him 3 Super Bowls. That is Travis Kelce. My best Travis Kelce play is that he gets in the end zone over a half of a touchdown for Travis Kelce. Put that in a parlay. That is going to hit. He will score a touchdown in this game.
Yeah, that anytime touchdown. That feels a little bit more attainable, more secure than any yardage.
For sure.
They can go.
I like the 5.5 receptions for Kelce as well, just because he's going to get so many underlooks and all that kind of stuff, seam routes, all that kind of stuff. But it does creep into the back of your head. Does Noah Gray, does Justin Watson, cut into that a little bit, and I don't believe it will, especially in this first playoff game. But my X factor in the game is D-Hop.
There we go.
They have his line way down at 29.5 yards. I believe he can do this in 1 to 2 catches. So give me that over on D-Hop's 29.5 yards receiving.
Yeah, give me D-Hop all day. I do. Yeah, 2.5 receptions, 29.5 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Over. What about on the other side?
Yeah.
Nico Collins anytime touchdown, basically a 112 type of bet.
No, it definitely can happen, Andy, and I'm not against Nico at any point, especially with Joe Mixon kind of banged up. I do believe that they go that route a little bit.
Yeah.
CJ is going to be airing the ball out a lot. That's why I'm looking, if I'm going to do anything on the Texans, I'm doing more of a, receptions or yardage base on them, just because I know that they're going to be throwing it out there a lot. So I do believe the 228.5 on CJ Stroud over would probably hit, and I like Nico Collins over 82.5 yards.
One of the most popular bets on Underdog right now are wagers. Is that how they like to say that? Is Houston's kicker Fairbairn.
Fairbairn, yep.
Over 6.5 points.
Yeah.
But field goals made is sitting at 1.5. So I'm thinking,
hit that 1.5.
Yeah.
He's got to hit the 1.5.
More than 1.5, right?
That just shows that they think they're going to score a lot. But I do like the over 1.5 field goals made for the Texans. I believe they do stall a couple drives. That's why I don't like that Nico anytime touchdown as much as some people.
Yeah. All right. Well, should we move on to another matchup here?
Let's do the Commanders.
Lions hosting the Commanders.
Yeah.
Right off the gate, I think there's going to be a lot of points scored here. A lot of points, a lot of fun.
For sure. And the first thing that I'm going to go off on is Mr. Jaden Daniels. That is the draw to this game for the Commander side, obviously. Including the playoffs, Daniels has recorded at least 10 carries has at least 10 carries in a game 7 times. So, like, his rushing attempts are right there at 9.5. I believe that's going to be just as well this game, so I'm going to go higher than 9.5 rushing attempts. I just believe he's going to be trying to get those first downs, all that kind of stuff.
Sure,
so I believe 10 rushing attempts is not out of the realm for Jaden, so that is my pick on Jaden Daniels for this game.
You know, he had a fantastic game last week, but he still let me down because I was looking at yardage.
Yes.
And he was under yardage by about 10 yards.
Yep.
And I really feel that in the first half when he took that really tough tackle where they helicoptered him.
Like, dial back, we need you for the whole game, need you for the whole playoffs.
Yeah,
love that.
Attempts was still over, but the yardage wasn't there. 49.5. You like to think that he should get that, and more times than not, he did get that throughout the season. But in this spot, I don't want to get burned twice in a row. I'm not going to bet Jaden Daniels rush yardage.
My other play for the Commanders, Andy, I believe is Scary Terry. I believe he's about to have another great week. You know, he's been there through the lows of the lows for the Redskins, Commanders, the football team, all that kind of stuff. I believe he's going to have a crowning achievement here, have a huge game. I like the 68.5 receiving yards, but what I like more than that is the 5.5 receptions.
There you go. Yeah.
He is going to be smoking Terry. Scary Terry the ball the entire time. Yeah. He's going to have probably 7 to 8 receptions in this game. 5.5, I believe, is just a little too low. Hit that higher button on Mr. Scary Terry.
I like Scary Terry. I like that play a lot. And I just opened up the app again.
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels is now sitting at 54.5 rushing yards. No go.
It's going up. It's going up. It's going up.
Yeah.
If you want his rushing yards, get it in as fast as you can when these lines go out.
How about anytime touchdown for Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, of course. You got to love that. You got to love Jahmyr Gibbs scoring a touchdown. It's not going to be as much as it is.
There's not much juice. It's not very juicy.
Not much juice. And you got to love Jahmyr Gibbs on pretty much any of his lines, obviously, Andy. 84.5 rushing yards. You got to think that's good. I'm flipping my pick to their second-string running back, a guy that's coming back from injury, David Montgomery. Missed the last 3 weeks. Touched it on it in an earlier segment, but lower than 47.5 rushing yards, Andy. I believe he comes nowhere near this. He would have to bust one, and Jahmyr would have to be having a bad game or something like that for him to get a lot of touches in this game. Under 47.5 rushing yards. I believe he can score in this game because he will get in there in those 5-yardage situations, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. I do not believe he gets 47.5 rushing yards. Go the lower on that.
Yeah, I could. There's a definite path to that. I feel like that's a good take there.
Yeah.
Let's move on over to the NFC and the Sunday game. The Eagles are playing the Rams. Everyone's talking about Saquon Barkley. Anytime touchdown, he should have had it. He didn't take it because he took a knee at the end of the game. Unbelievable. And it was even in a spot where it didn't matter. You're still going to control the game. I think the NFL is getting too smart for their own good.
Yeah.
Scoring 6 points is a good thing.
For sure.
Don't worry about giving the ball back to Patrick Mahomes, especially when you're not playing Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
Okay? Score the touchdown with that.
Yeah.
I'm going over a half a touchdown for Saquon Barkley.
That's definitely a good play, Andy.
The odds are better than Jahmyr Gibbs, actually.
Yeah, exactly, and it's insane because this guy is going to score a touchdown. And I really like Saquon's yardage here. Rush plus receiving yards at 126.5.
Yeah.
Andy, he's going to skyrocket over this. He's probably going to have over 150 rushing yards. But when you're throwing receiving yards on top of that, give me that 126 all day long, Andy. Yeah. The play that I really like on the other side of the ball, Stafford is going to be slinging this ball. And who is he going to revert to? He is going to revert to Cooper Kupp.
Yep.
4.5 receptions. He's going way over that. He's going to
really?
He's going to get over 10 targets in this game, Andy. All he has to do is catch half of those, hits the bet. I love Cooper Kupp as low as 4.5 receptions. Put the over on that.
Hey, Kupp's been a wagon all season long. He has been for like the last 8 seasons.
Right.
Does that mean Puka Nacua will not get his 7.5 receptions?
I do not like that number just because it's really high.
It
Andy.
is. It's very high.
And I think Cooper's right there in everybody's mind just as much. I would rather take the 3 less receptions bet than, because I do believe that they will both have a boatload of targets. I just like that Cooper Kupp is way lower. Puka Nacua, Probably will hit the 7.5, but obviously he's going to be in that 8 to 9 range as well. So,
all right, well, let's move on over to the game that's going to have all the eyeballs. Number 2 seed, the number 3 seed, Bills versus the Ravens. So many stars here, so many big time lines. Anything rushing for the Ravens, I'm probably going higher. I'll tell you that right now. And they're some pretty high numbers. Derrick Henry, 95.5.
95.5. I believe this goes over, Andy. We talked about it. I really just love Derrick Henry in this game. He smoked him in the first game. I think it's a great game for Derrick Henry. 95.5. Lock me in for that.
You know, the last time these two teams played, Ravens really pushed around the Bills and established that run earlier. Does that lend itself to Lamar getting over 223.5 yards passing? Will the pass be set up by the run?
Yeah, I really don't think so, Andy. And one of my best plays is his. I'm going under on his passing attempts at 27.5. That is going in my parlay. That is the first piece that you're going to get here, folks. But I'm going the under on that 27.5 just because he really doesn't hit that all that often, Andy.
Yeah.
And especially in a game like this, he's been an effective passer, but in Baltimore, they rely on their ground game, just like you said. The reigning MVP has thrown for 25 or fewer passes in 4 of his last 5 games, which includes just 21 pass attempts against the Steelers last week. I believe it's going to be about the same type of game for him, and he's just going to be running all over the place. So give me 27.5 under passing attempts.
All right, you heard the horn. That means we're up against it, but we cannot leave you without the parlay. Pounders, parlay, play.
Okay, yeah. You just heard the first piece of it. It's Lamar Jackson under 27.5 passing attempts. My second one is a guy in this game. We're talking James Cook. Higher 2.5 receptions here, Andy. Okay. I believe he had such a bad outing against him in week 4. He's going to be looking for that, and I believe that they're going to be doing a lot more checkdowns against Baltimore's kind of stingy defense. So I like the pick over 2.5 receptions for James Cook. I'm rounding this out with A.J. Brown, Mr. reading the playbook or whatever he was on. Inspirational. Under 70.5 receiving yards, Andy. Only had 1 catch for 10 yards last week. I don't believe anything gets better for him in this matchup. And, he's questionable as well. So I think he's still lingering on a little bit of a injury. And, under 70 yards. Yeah, I don't believe it. And this defense didn't give over 65 to any Vikings receiver last week.
So there you have it. There's a clear path for AJ not to get that.
Exactly. These 3 picks all together on Underdog for you put 15 on it to win 116.
Love those odds.
Love it.
All righty, well, that'll about do it for us here at WTL. Be sure to give us a follow, a like, maybe even subscribe. Check us out on YouTube. We're also on ESPN Tri-City Radio and their Facebook page, putting out short videos there. And we are on Twitter, putting out picks every so often.
X.
It's short videos as well. Yeah, it's X now.
Yeah.
And you're holding down the old TikTok. Why we still have it around?
Of course, at WTL Sports Betting, putting out parlays and picks on all of our weekend big games.
For Jabron, the Parlay Pounder, I'm Andy Klassen. Thank you for listening. This has been WTL.